Your setbacks do not erase your progress. If right now you are feeling these old wounds coming back up, these old triggers coming back up, or maybe old memories, you are not failing. I think it's really important for you to understand that. And the fact that you're maybe stumbling a little bit within your feet, it doesn't mean that everything that you worked up on or worked for is instantly gone. It doesn't mean that. And it doesn't mean that everything that you have learned, you, for some reason, it's all gone just because you are struggling with this one thing, or old wounds are coming back up. These triggers and these old behavioral pattern have been built on repetition. Every single day, that's what you were taught in childhood. That's how you grew up in this perception of the world. You have been told that this is how you need to act, this is how you need to see the world, you need to it's good to act this way, it's bad to act this way. Or even if somebody didn't tell you word for word, you were taught to behave and to react those ways by everything that was going on and how other people were acting. So for those behaviors, for those triggers to come back, if you're coming out of them, for them to come back is very normal. And it does not mean, again, it does not mean that you are failing. It is also not against you. Those triggers coming back up, the fact that you are having how did I call it? Those setbacks. Those setbacks are not working against you. I believe that this is very important because often we are made to believe that when we are working towards this new perception, these new beliefs, these new behaviors, when we have setbacks, we have the reflex of looking at them as bad. And of course they're undesirable, but they're not. It's as if they were the enemy, but they are not. Those setbacks are really not working against you. They are actually working for you. And it can be very difficult to understand it, and it can sound very contradictory, or it can sound very weird, but they do work for you, because as you are learning to grow into this new space, these new healthy habits, these new healthy behaviors, and these new healthy perceptions of the world and of your life, you are you're ceasing to feed those old beliefs, those old patterns. And first of all, you need to understand that these old wounds, triggers, and behaviors, as you stop feeding them, they continue to fight to stay alive by coming back online. But the way that you can manage or will deal with that happening, you can very respectfully notice them and observe them, and don't one of the worst things that you can do is to absolutely ignore that and to deem it bad and just You think, no, I don't want to deal with that's not what I want. I want this new life. So I'm going to ignore those behaviors, those triggers coming back online, and I'm going to focus on this over here. And even though it seems like it would be the right thing to do, it's not, because you still need to acknowledge those old behaviors coming back online. So you need to, like I said, very respectfully for those behaviors, and also for yourself and for your past self who was so deep into those patterns. Respectfully notice that, observe that those behaviors and those triggers are happening, and take a moment, say, see, okay, this is coming back online, this is triggering me this way that I haven't been triggered for a while. And really take the time to notice that, and notice the source also. Identify the source. Where did that come from? What triggered this old belief, this old behavior? And take some time to digest it and to dissect it, to see, to feel how it makes you feel, what emotions come up, what limiting beliefs come up. And after that, acknowledge that it's really, like I said, it's old beliefs, it's old patterns, and they don't serve you anymore here today. And you have been ceasing to feed those behaviors and those patterns. So you can really use this as an opportunity to double confirm, or to double check, and to confirm once again that, yes, I am sure that I want to let go of that. And yes, see, now that it's coming back online, I can see even better, now that I've been working on these new beliefs and new behaviors and new perceptions, I can see even clearer now how they are not serving me. So you can really use, like I said, use this as an opportunity to confirm once again to yourself, to say, see, yeah, we were right, and we are still right to not want that anymore. So we can say, well, okay, thank you. Okay, thank you so much for coming. Let me hold the door for you so that you can leave. And I also wanted to say that these setbacks, well, let's put setbacks in quotations, because you're not really taking a step back, but let's call them, we very much perceive them as step-backs or stumbles. Those setbacks are truly working for you, in the sense that, this is what I believe that when you are transitioning into this new way of being, I believe that those setbacks are tests, and they are opportunities to practice exactly what you have been learning and what you have been wanting to grow into. And that's how I believe that they're working for you. And it's, with time, those triggers and those old behaviors will come back less and less. But for those times when they do come back, you will see that time after time, you will feel more distant from them, or you will feel that the triggers will not be as intense as they were before, and their intensity will lessen gradually. You will, when you get the trigger, you will be able to observe and say, see, yes, that is really triggering. That's really getting my mind spinning in all of those beliefs. But the emotions will feel like, instead of being a big bonfire, it will just feel like a small flame, and it's still there. And the fact that it's still there and it's still triggering you is not a failure, and it does not erase your progress. Instead of viewing it that way, like I said, see it as proof that you have progressed, because it's the trigger is just okay. First of all, the trigger might not affect you emotionally as intensely as before, but also through learning those new beliefs, those new behaviors, and those new possibly those new ways to support yourself, you will have learned new ways to deal with those triggers and to dissect them and to observe them and understand the psychology behind it, understand the source, understand where they're coming from your childhood. So when they are coming back online and you get triggered again, those setbacks, when you get those setbacks, it's really an opportunity for you to practice these new um, these new skills, and it's a way to prove to yourself and to show to yourself that you have made progress. So it's really the opposite of what we tend to have the reflex to think. um, it's instead of being proof that you are not progressing, or that you, oh, once again I'm getting triggered by this, that means that I need to work even harder because what I'm doing is not working. No, no, no. Welcome the trigger. Well, take your time to process and take your breath. um but no, see it as, like I said, this opportunity to prove to yourself and to show yourself that you are more skilled now to deal with that, and you are moving into a new space, and this old trigger, this old behavior that is coming up is just, it's just not welcome anymore. These setbacks are also here to guide you through your progress, because when they come around, they act as a compass for you to notice how far you've come, how far ahead you are in your progress, how far you have, like I said, how far you've come, and how long you have left until you get to the point where you want to be. And it's actually very important. Do not shy away from those setbacks and from those triggers coming back online. Do not, because such a process that is dealing with old beliefs and old patterns, it is not easily measurable. It is not like reading a book. You can read a book and you can look at the page you're at and see how far you've come and how far you have left until the end of the book. But when you are dealing with psychology, with behavioral patterns, there is no other way to know where you are in your journey than getting brought up into those situations that used to trigger you, or to deal with those subjects that used to trigger you and to see how differently you react and how differently it affects you. It's all very emotional. It's not, you cannot measure your progress by a statistic like pages of a book. You cannot. So your setbacks are working for you. Do not fight them. Do not demonize them. They are here to help you. And that part of yourself that is still stuck in some of those limiting beliefs and behavioral patterns, that part of you is just trying to keep you safe, because those ways, those behaviors and those beliefs are what you learned growing up and in your childhood. And moving out of them is a very long process. And not only you, your adult self and your logical brain, not only you need to move out of them, but that part of you also needs to move out of them. And that inner child, that part of you that is still really your inner child, they also need to come out of there. And you're not always going to be in sync. Sometimes you will feel that your logical side is seeing the situation in one way and it's perceiving it one way, but somewhere inside you do feel all those emotions from your inner child, all those emotions that are getting brought up, and it does feel like there's some sort of duality. And that's okay. That's where you need to be there for yourself and to support yourself. And you need to be understanding towards yourself. The last thing that you need is to berate yourself. You are not against that part of yourself that's still stuck in those behaviors. And that part of yourself that's still stuck in those behaviors is not fighting against you. It's not trying to hurt you. It's trying to protect you, and it doesn't understand it. It doesn't fully understand yet that those new beliefs and that those new behaviors are truly going to keep you safe. And it's not fully ready to let go of those behaviors, old behaviors and old beliefs, because they have kept you safe for so long. So it's afraid to let go of something that part of you thinks and believes that it's safe. But you need to remind yourself and that part of yourself that today it is not keeping us safe anymore, because it is hurting us. So yes, maybe those behaviors and those beliefs kept us safe from other people, but now today we're in a different situation. We're in different circumstances, and now that we're not dealing with the same situations, those beliefs and those behaviors, like I said, they're just hurting us, and that's why we need to let them go and to move into this new space. And it takes a long time. It takes a long time to do that. It takes patience. It takes, again, being understanding towards yourself. And it takes not ignoring those setbacks. It takes welcoming those setbacks and using them at your advantage, because again, they are happening to benefit you. That's what you that's what you need to really fully understand and grasp. Those setbacks are happening to benefit you, not to set you back. And I'm calling them setbacks, but I understand how confusing that can be. I don't know how else to call them. But the moment that you from the moment that you stop considering those setbacks as setbacks, then you are much more capable to move forward. Once you use those as opportunities to see where you're at in your progress, to practice these new beliefs that you have been moving into and that you have been learning about, that is when you can really move forward. And those setbacks, the only way that those setbacks can set you back is if you believe that they can set you back. I just blew my own mind. And the only way that those setbacks can bring you down is if you let them is if you let them bring you down. And your progress is on a different timeline than your setbacks or your old triggers coming back online. You need to understand that those old triggers, when you decided to move out of those old behaviors and these old beliefs, you made a fracture in the timeline. So you made a fracture and you created a new timeline where you are learning these new behaviors, you are learning these new perceptions. And when the old timeline is coming back online, you need to understand that it's just these few episodes that are coming back. But it's very important to understand that they are separate from this new timeline that you have created for yourself. And when a new episode from the old series is coming back online, it doesn't erase all of the new timeline that you have created for yourself. And it doesn't damage it either. It takes the spotlight for a moment, as if the new timeline is being paused. The old triggers are coming back online on the spotlight. And then once you deal with them, you can press play again on the new timeline and you haven't missed anything. Nothing was damaged. Nothing was set back. Nothing was lost. This is also what I meant when I said that you have one foot in your old beliefs and old patterns and one foot in the new ones. You are dealing with two timelines, and it will happen that sometimes it will fluctuate. It is normal. But again, you need to understand that the old timeline coming back online is working for you, and it's an opportunity to see how far you've come, to use it as a compass, use it as a test and a practice for you to get better at using those new ways of communicating, those new ways of moving through life on this new timeline. And how do you get better at something? It is through practice. So truthfully, to wrap it up, your setbacks do not erase your progress. Your setbacks are working for you, as they are opportunities. They are opportunities. And they are only opportunities if you perceive them to be, and if you use them for that purpose.